Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's so good to have you here at Create with Franz. And today we're going to talk about perfectionism. Yes, that thing that makes you really worry about everything. It's not really about striving for excellence. It's about striving for the impossible, the unattainable, something that is literally unachievable, like having a perfect, immaculate house, or a perfect office, or a perfect job, or the perfect hair all the time. And that's why I do show up sometimes in videos, not really looking like one of the Kardashian or anyone else, because I'm like, I'm not them. I don't have to compare myself. But you know what? I hear that perfectionism is a really big problem worldwide, and especially in a lot of women. But let's talk a little bit about the symptoms with a specialist about this. And this, her name is Dinara Skeyrite. Tell me I got it wrong. So welcome to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Franz. And yeah, it's Dinara Skeyrite, and it's almost right, so very good.
I'm getting there. I'm not very good with pronunciation, but we're gonna learn. And surely by the end of an episode, I will be like, what was the pronunciation again? This is so me. So I'm really excited about talking about perfectionism because, I lived in a place where the house has to be always perfect. And in Italy, everyone wants the guests to feel like they're welcome. And to be welcome, they have to have an immaculate house. And this connected into being very stressed and stressing all the kids. So the house was perfect, which is a lot of weight on you because if you are not perfect, people are going to judge you that you are not perfect. And so it was a rolling thing that it took me years to overcome that the syndrome of having the perfect, immaculate house, the museum. So do you have yourself another example? What are the symptoms that you find in your clients about being perfectionists?
Okay, so yeah, that is like a very wide topic, and perfectionism really can take over the whole of your life, all of the areas of your life. And it's like, it's not just only about the perfect house. It's like, when you said the house needs to be perfect because people will judge you. So what's that? That is a fear of judgment. So that's very strong within perfectionists as well. And that's stressing over the results. So for example, I'm working a lot of with people who are struggling with this at work a lot. And what they do, they stress over the results, what they produce in their working environment, for example. So they are anxious about it. They always try to be the best, but it's not only the best, but the best up to the unachievable level, as you said. So one of the symptoms at work, especially, is like that inability to delegate, because they know that they set really high standards and other people are probably not going to reach those standards, So then there it comes like fear of failure, right? So fear of failure, that what if I fail? Everyone's going to see that I'm not perfect. So it's that building of the facade of being perfect. And yeah, so that is interesting.
It's interesting, this facade, we have to appear. So it's about appearances?
So it's kind of about appearances. So it's not only about the image, but it's about the whole of your persona. It's like, I must be perfect. And the work that I do also must be perfect so that other people see me as perfect and then they accept me. So somewhere in life, they've learned that they need to be perfect to be accepted. It's like constant self-doubt. Am I doing it perfectly? Is like setting these unrealistically high standards. Is self-sabotaging. Another thing that is really, really interesting with perfectionists is that procrastination, that they do know that they set these unachievable standards and goals, and they are so disappointed when they can't achieve it because it is unachievable, it's in the word, that then they kind of know that that's their pattern, and then they avoid doing anything because what's the point? Is never going to be perfect because life is not perfect. Nothing is perfect. And this is how they also end up self-sabotaging. So I did have one of my clients, and she is like a type A personality. She's always striving for the best. She's always doing everything for everyone. She's always putting this high pressure onto herself. But it's not just that type A personality is been holding her back, because she's been self-sabotaging with saying yes to everyone else's expectations, because she wanted to be perfect. She wanted to appear perfect. So if someone asks her something, can you fill this report for me? I don't have time today. She immediately compulsively says yes, right? Instead of actually thinking, do I have time? Can I actually say no here? So to her, well, without swearing, to her, saying no was something like she's telling them to F off. So she felt that it's either two options she has: either say yes or say the bad word, right? Because she couldn't even comprehend saying no. So in that way, she was self-sabotaging within her own job, because she was trying to please everyone. And there's another thing. So people pleasing comes into play as well in here. And another thing that she was also doing was trying to learn every little bit about the job, because otherwise she felt like she's not good enough in there. She needed to know everything to 100%. Otherwise, she's not doing it. And this is very, I've heard like there is this perception that women, when they, for example, apply for new jobs, right, they tend to tick every single box before they apply. Some people don't do that. So this is that perfectionist, that they want to tick every single box, and they want to go above and beyond to the point of this perfection that doesn't exist. So in that way, she was overlearning, and she wasn't actually moving along and moving forward with her goals, because she wanted to expand. She wanted to create her own business, and she knew a lot about that business, and she knew like literally 99% of what she needed to do and how she needed to do that. But she could not move on, because she thought she needed to buy another course and another course, and she need to learn this and then that and then that. And then, like just like piling these certifications and courses and not actually taking any action, because she was so afraid she was not good enough. So after we worked together, she's actually identified that she only needs one more skill. And these courses that she's like bought last half year, they're pretty much useless, because she knew already all the information. So she identified one little skill that she needed to kind of add to her portfolio, and she's off flying, opened up her business, and doing very well. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. The courses, I do love learning, but I love learning because it's just so fun. And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, if I have another qualification, and I could plaster the whole world with qualifications, but in the end of the day, we have to make use of all this stuff that we have or that we are, that we can learn. So it's a great example how we can be consumed by this, and it can bring us to have a very serious mental health problem, because we might end up with eating disorders, for example, if we think that our body doesn't attain this physical perfection that we think we perceive from a social media. We might have a pathological worry, we might have a generalized anxiety disorder just in one area. So some people are normal in all areas of their life, but one area they're really, really perfectionist, over the top. So we're not saying don't strive for excellence. We're saying that's OTT. So you might even be so sad and depressed because you can be and you can't sleep. There are some people I know, they can't sleep and they're very tense. They can't really relax because there's always something going on. And I don't know if you had any example of that in your experience, but self-criticism. Oh, I am so, and they put themselves down because they're holding themselves to a standard that they are not holding for other people. And so it's it's about pleasing the other people, but not ourselves, and also comparing all the time and say, oh, but Joe Blogs is doing better. So doing that is really going to make life really difficult. And I do know that in the end, if we always think like it's all of nothing, so black and white thinking, etc., we're going to have a miserable life. So in the end of the day, being perfect doesn't make us have more success or a better life at all. So there must be a light in the end of this tunnel. So what can happen in our life? What are the things that you experience that take this perfectionism to a much more manageable level?
Yeah, so it all comes down to what the real issue is, right? Why would someone be striving for that perfection and trying to be perfect for everyone and appear perfect? So it comes down to low self-worth. It comes down to like not accepting yourself. It's kind of rooted to that. It's driven by that feeling not good enough. So once you address that, all of these little things that are not so little when you're experiencing them should kind of resolve by themselves. Obviously, there is, there are different ways that people go about it. They go about it sometimes and say, I can probably manage that. And that's fine if that works for them. But the way I work with my clients, I'm kind of, I like to resolve things. I do like resolving things, and I like to get to the actual problem, actual root cause of that perfectionism, of that anxiety that they're feeling, of this negative thinking and stuff like that. And it just boils down to that like low self-worth and not believing in yourself as well. Because if you believed in yourself and you had confidence, like a real true confidence, you'd be like doing whatever you want. Because a lot of times perfectionists also, they kind of hide behind that perfectionism and they don't really show their true selves. And a lot of times they don't even know what they want themselves, and they don't even know who they really are. So that all, resolving the root causes and resolving the real issue of why it is happening, and actually delving deep into yourself to find out who you really are and what you really, really want in this life. That's the main thing to resolving that. And working on self-acceptance, working on raising that confidence levels, and working on this real true belief in yourself. That's kind of where it boils down to for me.
Right. Yeah, of course, everyone has a different experience. We're not saying that one size fits all and everyone has to have a therapy. So what kind of modalities do you use to help your clients to overcome this problem?
So I use the advanced conversational hypnosis, and that is really good for like, I know that hypnotherapy is kind of almost looked at as if like, oh, there's just going to be lots of relaxations, right? And perfectionists, they can't relax. They literally, one of the symptoms is that they can't relax, and they ruminate about their mistakes, and they worry what if they make a mistake, and they are unsure about themselves. They self-doubt, so they can't relax. So that's why the method that I use is so really good for perfectionists, because I don't really need them to be completely relaxed in the state of like, I don't understand where I am, if that makes sense. And another method that I also add sometimes, that's for people who do believe in these sorts of things, is the remote viewing energy healing. And this is something completely different, and that like allows me to delve deep and to maybe see different patterns within their generational line and within their past and stuff like that.
Oh, thank you. I was thinking before, I was mentioning to you about this lack of relaxation. So the ability to relax the muscles, which the children have, but we as adults tend to kind of feel tense when we expect something. We go a little bit in fight or flight, and some people can't let go. And you can feel that because when they're talking, when they're breathing, something isn't right. And I was just thinking there might be a connection because I know some wonderful people who have fibromyalgia. One in particular is just so loving and helpful to everyone, but he's very much a perfectionist and is always super tense. And so the person that I'm talking about has to have hot baths and muscle relaxation techniques applied every single day for hours so that they can let go. But then during the day, there's this desire to please others, to do for others, to to be always on the go. Otherwise, they don't feel right. They don't feel right. And so fibromyalgia sometimes is the body screaming and say, I don't need to be perfect. I can't sit, I can't stop. We don't need to do a rat race. And a lot of women have fibromyalgia because they are wonderful. They are so full of service and love and the desire to change the world, but they're not nourishing themselves. Or if they do that in a perfectionist manner. It has to be perfect. And so more pressure. So just an idea in case you feel that you guys listening to us today, if you feel that this tension is there and it's not going away, ask yourself, what are your goals there? And how many other people have these very high goals of perfection? Because we don't need them. And I always thought, I've been on Earth 58 years now, going 59 in a month. And I thought, one day I'm going to die and I'm going to be on my deathbed looking back. So I'm going to die soon and very excited to meet my creator, have nothing to do, I just enjoy myself. And then I'm going to look back. Am I going to say, was my house perfectly clean for all these years? Was my attire always perfect? Was my hair, plural in Italian, singular in English, perfect? And was all my relationship history perfect? Was my car perfect? Was my holiday perfect? None of it is going to matter, isn't it? It's going to be completely different. And what's going to matter is the quality of these relationships and how much we actually had joy in life with. Because I think when we are perfectionists, aren't we forgetting what joy is? We're losing the joy of a present.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's another symptom. They can't be present. And this is where it all goes. They're either worrying about the, mistakes they made, or they're worrying about, how to not make them and how to make everything perfect. So yeah. And as you say, at the end of the day, none of that matters. And I wish, I was a little bit of, I was a perfectionist, right? Myself. And I wish I had known that about myself when I was in my early 20s, for example. I could have had completely, different, relaxed life where I believed in myself a bit better, a bit more, and pushed myself less for certain things where that didn't really matter that much. And I just went for what I wanted and not what I thought everyone else wanted from me, and not trying to prove someone wrong. That's another way that some perfectionists kind of live their lives by I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove them that I'm worth this. They've rejected me back then. I'm going to prove them I'm perfect. And how can someone reject someone as perfect as me? And while inside they're completely, completely devastated by the fact that how much they don't really love themselves and don't accept their own mistakes and stuff. And you said that there was the perfectionists don't put these standards on other people. They sometimes do. So there are a few types of perfectionism, and there's others orientated perfectionism. So you can be a perfectionist yourself and put these expectations on other people. And can you imagine when you put these perfect expectations on your partner in a romantic relationship, how that affects?
Terrible. Yeah. I imagine. You made a really good point, because don't we then become really impossible at work or in the family, expecting others to live in a really high place. And I don't want to go too deep, but I'm in a very special forum on Facebook where they talk about health. I will say no more, but they're very, very strong on organic food and natural, avoid toxins, and it's all good. I'm a herbalist, I'm a nutritionist, I'm all for living well. But sometimes you read the post of Anonymous, and it's like, oh, I can't believe it. My husband, usually is a woman, so my husband will not live to these standards. Is incredible. They, oh, they don't want to be vegan, or they don't understand organic, and blah, blah, blah. And in the end of the day, you realize they have such a high standard. They're going to live completely toxin-free. They're just every part of their life, all the food, the substances, everything they touch is bad for them. So I sometimes I reply, I say, well, you can't live like that. You're going to destroy your relationship, because you can't expect them to live in the way you think it's good for you. Yes, you might be healthier, but I can say people lived millions of years without all this stuff that you're saying, and they survived, So there has to be the thing of not passing this very high standard to other people. And perhaps when we do that, we might become unconsciously very critical of other people because they don't have those high standards, and we all can fall into that. We expect them to be the good. And so because they're not good, we internally think, dang, they're not trying hard. They don't really care, do they? But I care.
Yeah. And the thing is that when that expectation put on the other person, and that person doesn't meet that expectation, you become frustrated. And then you're actually bringing that back to yourself, become angry and frustrated. I just want, good for them, and why they're not following my, plan for them and stuff like that. But it's not really possible. If you can't meet your own standards as a perfectionist, how would everyone else would meet these standards as well? And so like one of the other really kind of exaggerated symptoms is the need for control as well. So to expect that perfect result from everything in your life, you must control everything. So you overplan, you overdo things because you need to know this is gonna come out perfect. So I need to control this. I need to control this situation. And, I need to control what this person is thinking of me or what is doing. So that's another one. So it is quite linked to OCD as well, I find.
Yeah. So I want to control everything. My day has to be structured in this way so I can fit in as much as possible. So I achieve my level, or I've done this, and that. And if I haven't, and people are stopping me, my whole world is gonna crumble. We could go forever, but it's very depressing to think, am I one of these people? Oh my gosh. And so what if a person is listening and say, oh my gosh, maybe I am perfectionist. Maybe I am pushing this level of fitness, abilities and beauty to other people, cleanliness, health. What can I do? Is there something practical that we can do like today to say, all right, let's get back to normal here. Let's enjoy life.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of suggestions. So one of the suggestions that you can actually absolutely start today is acknowledging your achievements. And that helped me so much. So what you do is, so as perfectionists, we tend to not acknowledge our achievements. And even when you set a goal at a high standard, even if you achieve that goal, you don't seem satisfied. Like then you reach for another goal, right? So one of the things to gain more confidence, like real confidence, is start acknowledging small achievements. So at the end of each day, write down 3 achievements from that day. It could be anything. It could be even like, oh, today I have listened to my body, because that's another one. Like today I have listened to my body and I have decided that actually I'm gonna, not go to the gym because I feel under the weather, right? So that is not your failure because you haven't gone to the gym. That is actually you listening to your body and giving your body what it needs, like rest, nutrition, maybe some medicine, whatever. So that could be one. And then the second one could be like, I don't know, I had a really meaningful conversation with my partner or a friend. And the third one could be, if you're a procrastinator and you have washed your dishes straight after eating, that could be your third one. Just small little goals, small little achievements during the day. So you do that for a week. At the end of the week, read them. You're going to have 21 of them, and you're going to feel really proud of yourself that, oh my God, I have done all of that. I've actually done all of that. And then celebrate it with, again, it doesn't have to be anything big, but just reward yourself in some ways. So that's gonna, over time, when you do that, you're gonna train your brain to actually see that you're not that bad, that you can achieve things, and then you can enjoy these achievements and you can reward yourself. So that's one of them. So I feel like it's really helped me. And another one is kind of meditation. So if you just put like a soothing music, the music that you like, nothing too like bangy or anything like that, just something soothing and calming. And you close your eyes, take a few breaths, and imagine in your head, imagine either someone who you really love, or imagine yourself as a baby, right? And imagine that baby or that someone you really love made a tiny mistake. And what would you say to that person or to that version of yourself, to that smaller version of yourself? You wouldn't go, oh, you're a failure, you're so stupid, you're this. You wouldn't start with negative talking, would you? If it was someone you really love, because because we do tend to be kinder to others than us as perfectionists. Once you've done that, stay in that feeling of loving them and turn that inwards. Turn that inwards and just stay in that feeling as long as you can or as long as you need. And that is the meditation. So do that. You could do that daily if you're like really, if your negative self-talk and harsh criticism of yourself is really high, you can do that daily, or you can do that like once a week or so. But that's a good practice that also helped me. And I was like, when the first time I tried that meditation, I was like, oh, actually, this is so nice to actually feel that love for myself.
Yes. What a beautiful way to end the episode, because it really is an uplifting note to know that it's possible to reconnect to ourselves and to feel that we don't have to be up there with our achievements, but every day small steps take us somewhere good. It doesn't have to be the impossible. And so I really want to thank you, Dinara, for being here, because it was really interesting to talk about what could be one of my problems. Don't we all have it sometimes? And so you guys are gonna publish underneath the episode. If you're on YouTube, it's gonna look down here, and we're gonna have all the links. So if you want to ask Dinara for help with hypnosis or even remote viewing, she is gonna be very happy to help you. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. And it was, it was a lovely conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. So guys, if you like the episode, please share it with all your friends and comment, engage on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple. If you are on iTunes, log in to leave your review of our show. It will help us to reach more people. So thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone, and take care and see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.